Hello dear viewers, a very warm welcome to our channel. It's very good to have you here. In this video, we are going to have a look at all you need to know about bad tire pressure monitoring system or TPMS sensor. The tire pressure monitoring system sensor is a small electronic device mounted inside each tire attached to the valve stem. Its primary job is to monitor the air pressure and often the temperature inside the tire and transmit that data wirelessly to the car computer. There are basically two types of tire pressure monitoring system sensors. There is a direct tire pressure monitoring sensor. This is the most common type. It uses a physical sensor inside each wheel. The second one is the indirect one. It uses a wheel speed sensor, part of the anti-lock brake system, to detect if a tire is underinflated by comparing its rotational speed to the others. It does not use physical pressure sensors. A typical direct tire pressure monitoring system sensor contains a pressure transducer, a temperature sensor, a radio transmitter, unique ID number, and sealed battery. Common symptoms of bad or failing tire pressure monitoring system sensor includes the following. One is warning light illuminated on your dashboard. If there is a solid yellow tire pressure monitoring sensor light indicated on your dashboard, that is indicative of a trouble. This usually means one or more tires are low on pressure. The first step is to always check and adjust all tire pressure to the provided specification. The other warning light is when there is a flashing yellow warning light that stays solid on your dashboard. This is the key indicator of a tire pressure monitoring system fault. After flashing for about 60 to 90 seconds, it typically stays solid. This almost always means one or more sensors have failed, typically due to dead battery or communication error. This is very common after tire rotation if the system wasn't properly retrained. Incorrect or inconsistent pressure reading on the display is also indication of a trouble. The dashboard display shows a tire with a dash line or 0 psi instead of a pressure reading. This indicates the car computer cannot receive signal from that specific sensor. The reading for one tire is stuck and does not change even after inflating or deflating the tire. That is indicative of a trouble as well. The readings are wildly inaccurate. If showing 80 psi when the tire is actually at 35 psi, this also indicates that the tire pressure monitoring sensor has failed. The other symptom is when there is no reading at all from one or more tires. On vehicles with an individual tire pressure display, one tire simply doesn't show any data if the sensor is gone bad. If the tire pressure monitoring system warning light comes on or behaves strangely immediately after getting new tires, a tire rotation or a repair, then the sensor may have been damaged during the service. It could be a broken valve stem or a cracked sensor body or a snapped rubber valve stem. All this can lead to sensor malfunction after a tire service. What are some of the common things that can cause the tire pressure monitoring system sensor to fail? First one is dead battery. This is the number one cause of tire pressure monitoring sensor failure. A lithium-ion battery inside each sensor is sealed and non-replaceable. It has a finite lifespan of 5 to 10 years. When it dies, the sensor stops transmitting altogether. The other common cause of a tire pressure monitoring sensor failure is physical damage. Well, this could happen during a tire service, for example, or it could be caused by corrosion. A technician can damage the sensor or valve stem if they are not careful while mounting or dismounting the tire. Salt and water rods can corrode the valve stem and the valve core, leading to slow leaks or sensor failure as well. Hitting a pothole or curb can also damage the sensor's internal components. The other common cause is broken or cracked valve stem. This is especially common when rubber snaps in valve stem. They can dry out, crack, and cause a slow leak or break off entirely. Sensor electronic failure is also common. Like any electronic component, the internal circuitry of the sensor can just fail. Damage from tire sealant can also be common. Many fix-a-flat type aerosol sealants can clog and ruin tire pressure monitoring system sensors. They should be considered a temporary emergency fix only. Now, how can you diagnose if there is a bad tire pressure monitoring system sensor? A proper diagnosis requires specialized tire pressure monitoring system tool. Well, start from the basic check. Check all tire pressure, for example. Use a quality gauge to manually check all the tires and make sure they are all up to the standard, up to the specification. Also, don't forget the spare tire if it is equipped. Check all tire pressure against the vehicle's recommended pressure. Inflate if it is required. Then go ahead and reset the system. After correcting pressure, the light should turn off after driving a few miles. If it does not turn on, then that indicates there is a deep problem. You can also go ahead and do vision. Look at each valve stem. Is it bent or is it leaning? Is there any visible damage? That can be looked at by visual inspection. Other things that you can do in order to diagnose a bad tire pressure monitoring system sensor is using a diagnostic tool. This is the right way. A tire pressure monitoring system tool is very essential. It can wake up and interrogate each sensor. So go ahead and scan the sensor if you have the tool, starting with the left front wheel tire. Hold the tire pressure monitoring system tool next to the valve stem and activate it. The tool will read the sensor's ID. It will read the sensor's pressure, temperature, and battery voltage. Then move around the car to the right. Go ahead and do the front right wheel, right rear wheel, and left rear tires, scanning each one. Then interpret the result. If one sensor doesn't respond at all, then that indicates that sensor is dead. Likely it could be a battery problem and therefore it needs replacement. If a sensor responds but shows incorrect reading, compare the tool's reading to your manual gauge. If it is wrong, then the sensor is faulty. If a sensor reports low battery, then the sensor is near the end of its life and should be replaced. Once replaced, there has to be the relearn procedure. Sometimes sensors are fine, but the car computer has lost its memory of which sensor ID is at which wheel location. This is common after tire rotation. So you must perform a relearn procedure. This can often be done through the car's infotainment system, but sometimes it requires a tire pressure monitoring system tool to trigger the sensor in a specific order. Then, if you find out some of the sensors are faulty, you will either repair or replace. When you come to sensor replacement, when a sensor fails, you must replace it, and you have two main choices. Either you have to use original equipment sensor. This is an exact match from the vehicle manufacturer. It is guaranteed to work, but often it is a little bit expensive. And the second option is using an aftermarket programmable sensor. A universal sensor that a technician can clone or program to match your vehicle's specifications and crucially copy the old sensor's ID. These are often more cost effective. The replacement procedure involves removing the tire from the wheel, then breaking the bead near the valve stem, removing the old sensor, installing the new sensor, and mounting and balancing the tire. Always when you are going to install new sensor, always make sure that you are installing it with new rubber valve stem, new seal, and new nut as well. You can use service kits if the sensor itself is functional but the valve stem, core, or grommet are worn. Inexpensive service kit can be installed. This includes new rubber stem, seals, nuts, and a new valve core. This is highly recommended whenever a tire is removed from the wheel. Tire pressure monitoring system rebuild is also possible. Some specialized shops can rebuild certain sensors by cracking them open and replacing the internal battery. This is less common and not always reliable. So always remember that sensors are generally reliable from 0 to 5 years. Problems are usually due to physical damage or system relearn needs. And from 5 to 10 years, this is a very dangerous zone where sensor batteries begin to die, and it's very common for one sensor to fail, followed by another within a year or two. 10 plus years, if you have still the original sensor, expect failure. When one dies, it is often wise to proactively replace the others to avoid repeated service cost. When buying new tires, it is an excellent opportunity to have your tire pressure monitoring system sensor inspected and service kits installed. If they are older than 7 or 8 years, consider replacing them preemptively to avoid future problems. So these are some of the things that you need to know if your vehicle is equipped with tire pressure monitoring system sensor. Well, dear viewers, that is all we have for you regarding some of the things that you need to know about the tire pressure monitoring system sensor. If you find this video helpful and if you enjoy what has been presented, please do smash the like button. If you are new to this channel, do consider subscribing, turn on notifications so that you will be the first to get notified whenever we come up with another video. Until then, stay safe.